Alfa Romeo's progress in Formula One this year has made it a Q3 regular, and even an occasional thorn in the side of Mercedes. But as the team heads into this weekend's Monaco Grand Prix, it has every right to feel that it could have its best chance of the season so far to cause a proper upset. For as it has come to better understand the performance of its C42, it knows that one of its core strengths is in slow-speed corners, of which there are plenty in Monte Carlo. As Valtteri Bottas remarked after some of the high-speed sections of Barcelona exposed the Alfa Romeo against its rivals, I think next week is quite suitable for our car. It's mainly slow-speed corners, and our car is really good in slow-speed corners. The data from Barcelona certainly seems to back up Bottas's claims of its strengths being in the lower speed sections. In very general terms, it's often said that the performance of a car through Barcelona's final sector is quite a good indicator of how it will perform in Monaco, because it is a sequence of medium-low speed turns. Looking at the sector times from qualifying, Bottas's Alfa Romeo was definitely there at the sharp end. Taking into account the quickest of each car through S3, here is how they line up. First, Ferrari, 27.336 seconds. Second, Red Bull, 27.411 seconds. Third, Alfa Romeo, 27.443 seconds. That already looks more encouraging for Alfa Romeo, but if you dig even deeper into the individual GPS sector times of the whole lap, and you can see that the Alfa Romeo was actually quickest overall in some segments. Comparing the qualifying laps of Charles Leclerc, Max Verstappen and Valtteri Bottas, the GPS traces show the Alfa Romeo was fastest overall on the entry into the turn 12 right-hander, as well as the exit of the chicane and into the final corner. With that pointing to some good traction at low speeds, things could be set up for Bottas to have an eye on getting his Alfa Romeo in the mix of the top 2 or 3 teams this weekend. So, it's been a really positive start to the season for Alfa Romeo. However, Valtteri Bottas believes it could have been even better. Bottas says a gamble on the long final stint in the Spanish Grand Prix left him unable to take advantage of Lewis Hamilton's problems at the end of the race. The Alfa Romeo driver ran a 2 strategy on a day when most drivers came in 3 times. His first lap stint was 14 laps on soft tyres, followed by a 20-lap stint on a fresh set of mediums. That left him needing to recover 32 laps to the checkered flag on another set of mediums. However, Bottas said his final stint was a stretch too far to remain competitive. He ran as high as 3rd at times, aided by problems from the Ferrari drivers and Hamilton, and hoped a podium finish might be possible at one stage. When you're at those positions and things are going smoothly and you see things happening to other cars, you are thinking that, okay, it could be my day. I think strategy-wise, we took a bit of a risk. We left the last stint to be very long. In the end, it was too long. The tyres died towards the end, but I mean, we tried. He believes the 2-stop strategy was a risk worth taking under the circumstances. Today, we had the chance to choose, are we going to be the best of the rest, or are we going to try something more? So we tried something different. It didn't work out, but the risk was pretty minimal, and there was not much threat from behind. Hamilton slowed suddenly with a water leak at the end of the race. Bottas suspects he might have been able to pass him had he run a more conventional strategy, but said the Alfa Romeo probably wasn't quick enough on the day to finish much higher than his eventual 6th place. I think there's just not quite enough pace. Maybe with the issues Lewis had towards the end, if we would have had a bit shorter last stint, it would have maybe been possible. But anyway, it's still good points. Alfa Romeo's upgrade package for Barcelona had clearly improved the car's competitiveness relative to Miami. Bottas said, at some times of the race, our pace was actually pretty strong, so definitely it was crucial to get those upgrades that we had this weekend, because we're going to need that big rear wing in Monaco for sure. Alfa Romeo team principal Frederic Vasseur says he was delighted to see Valtteri Bottas score 8 more points for Alfa Romeo F1 team all-in at Spanish Grand Prix, a race where he said didn't think they would be that competitive ahead of the weekend. Vasseur was full of praise for Bottas for bringing home another good finish, his 5th top 10 result in the opening 6 races, and score another good haul of points for the team. We experienced another race in which we showed just how quick we can be, and to bring home 8 more points, finishing just behind the front runners, is a positive result, said Vasseur. We can be pleased about our performance, even more so, given that we were not expecting Barcelona to suit us well. So we can be confident we can be competitive on every race this weekend. Valtteri did an excellent race without putting a wheel wrong and managing his car well. In the end, he was powerless to stop Sainz and Hamilton on fresher tyres passing him, but we did take 6. Vasseur admitted, however, that the retirement that befell Zhou Guanyu meant the Spanish weekend was not a complete success, and it is important for the team to address the issues and give the Chinese driver a chance at scoring points in the upcoming events. Unfortunately, we cannot be happy about the technical issue that stopped Zhou, said Vasseur. He was doing really well, moving up the places and heading to the top 10 when the car let him down. We need to address these issues and fix them, as we have the potential to be scoring with both cars in every race. Despite the optimistic signs produced, Alfa Romeo itself is not getting too carried away by things, as it has no doubt that the top squads will be just as strong as they have been all year, so there is little chance of a shock win. Alfa Romeo's head of trackside engineering, Xevi Pujola, is certainly not thinking that anything will come easy in Monaco. In terms of performance, I don't expect anything magic for sure, he said. We are strong in the lower speed, but the top teams are also strong in the low speed. It's not like we're much better than them. We are closer to them. Probably we will have a better gap to the midfield, a bit more margin, but I think the Ferrari, Red Bull and Mercedes, looking at the performance they have in Sector 3, they are still good. But even delivering a result behind the runaway Ferrari and Red Bull teams would be a good way to cap the Monaco weekend. We were fighting for P4 in Spain, and then we end up P6, so I mean, why not go for that P4 or better, added Pujola. For sure, we try. If anyone does a mistake, we will try to take the opportunity, but priority number 1 for us is making sure that we have both cars that are quick, because if we have Zhou Guanyu there as well, then we are a strong contender. We now head into the countdown to Formula One's showpiece event at the Monaco Grand Prix. Alfa Romeo will look to continue their strong start, but there will also be a more positive mood in the Mercedes team after a strong result for both George Russell and Lewis Hamilton. Hamilton is now insisting he can't wait for the upcoming Monaco Grand Prix. Hamilton has endured a tricky start to the 2022 season with his Mercedes car struggling for pace. Mercedes made notable improvements ahead of the Spanish Grand Prix, and Hamilton put in arguably his most impressive performance of the campaign to finish 5th. Although Hamilton was denied a 4th place finish due to reliability concerns in the closing laps, his efforts were heroic after suffering a collision and puncture on the opening lap, sending him to the back of the field. Like the Hamilton of old, the 7-time world champion showed remarkable speed to breeze past the majority of the field to secure a top 5 finish. Following the improvement performance, he posted an upbeat message ahead of this weekend's Monaco Grand Prix. He wrote on Twitter, "Yesterday's Spanish Grand Prix was another day that reminded me just how much I love this sport. Going from your emotions hitting the floor to ending on a high is such a thrill." That positivity was shared by Mercedes trackside engineering director Andrew Chauvelin, who revealed that more upgrades are on the cards, saying, "The most encouraging thing is the improvement in pace that we have seen this weekend. A lot of hard work has gone into understanding the issues and bringing parts to the track for this race. We can now see a route to develop our way out of this and back into a position where we can fight for pole and wins. We've got some unusual tracks coming up, starting with Monaco, where we need to focus more on low-speed performance, but we've got some parts in the pipeline that can hopefully help in that regard." After some tough months in Brackley and Brixworth, it was great to feel like we were racing again. We're determined to be part of the battle for these championships, and today has given us belief that we can do just that.